everybody. My name is Brandon Jones. I'm the editor-in-chief, voice and founder of GameTrailers.com. And guys, it's a good week for trailers, man. Usually when I pick 3 trailers for this show, the way it usually works out is there's like one really good trailer that I want to just gush about, one trailer that like is pretty good, but maybe we can learn some things, and then one trailer that's just like, hey, let's all just make fun of this trailer and give it a bad score. These are all great trailers. Let's all go to the trailers. We had an amazing trailer this morning that just popped up that I came in and put on the list, and Mr. Bosman made sure that we were going to include it. Speaking of Mr. Bosman, Mr. Kyle Bosman.
I love trailers!
Mr. Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
It's just like I love the Xbox. We gotta put that at the end of the show now? Is that how you do things?
That's how we begin this show.
Ah, got it. Well, I'll tell you how we begin the show. We begin by watching trailers. Let's do it. I mean, you all know by this point, if it starts with a bat and ends with a man, it's going to be on Let's All Go to the Trailers. But this is a really good trailer. Got on Twitch and I talked about it. I tweeted like 20 tweets in a row talking about all sorts of crazy things. I want to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think, Kyle?
What's really unique about this trailer is comparing it against prior Batman Arkham games. It feels like a conclusion, but it feels like this whole extra step up. It's cool it comes in with the announcement of it being an M-rated game because it feels like an M-rated trailer. It feels heavy, and that's a really interesting thing for a WB Games game. You know, it's cool they're going this way.
I think it's interesting that they go in and they show like a lot of the villains and kind of, you know, get you hooked into that. But unlike some of the other trailers, they don't focus on the Arkham Knight. Like, they actually kind of make it look like Scarecrow is the ringleader this time around.
Which none of us are buying, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a very interesting, it's a very interesting way to present it, since this is not the first time we've seen this game, but it feels like a trailer where it could be.
We don't learn a lot from this trailer. And I don't think this trailer is trying to teach us something new. Like, I don't know specifically, looking back on the previous trailers, I don't think we've seen Riddler yet, or Poison Ivy. I know we've seen Two-Face. We saw him in the first cinema, and I believe we've also seen the Penguin. You know, Scarecrow's angry at Batman, and he's going to try to take over the city. Obviously, you can drive around the Batmobile, of course. So this trailer is actually not telling us anything new about the game, and yet I cannot control my excitement from the tone of this trailer, actually. And I think that's one of the big things is this trailer seems dangerous. It kind of like puts us in a really interesting place as far as what this means for Batman and what this means for the future of Gotham City. And I think one of the things that really surprises me is I was bummed that all of the citizens left Gotham. I was really upset because I'm like, oh, this is Rocksteady's last game. Obviously, it's going to be this huge Gotham simulator. And they're like, nope, we're ushering everybody out just like we've done before. The streets are going to be completely empty. And for me, I was bummed because that wasn't going to feel like Gotham. And this trailer kind of redeemed that. It's like, no, that's not the story that we're wanting to tell. Like, we really want to make this place a war zone. We really want to take what we did with Arkham City. We really want to just amp everything up. One tiny little detail that I didn't really think about until this morning that I want to bring up that I think is fascinating.
On your drive to work, you just hopped into your mind.
It was when I got into the office. When I'm driving to work, I'm always thinking about Batman. I mean, that's just that's its own conversation. We can address that later. One thing that trailers desperately try to do is come up with an original sound effect.
Battlefield?
Yeah, well, Battlefield had that, yeah. Yeah, case in point, Battlefield, but also Infamous. What's the Inception? Had the famous "Bwah," that they put in the trailer, and then for like 8 months to a year after that, a lot of people were "Bwah," they had to put some kind of a big, like as if you didn't know something was really epic. I'm gonna put this sound effect in there to tell you, darn it, that this is really epic.
Ooh, the Alien trailer.
Yeah, the Alien trailer has a really great sound effect, and if you're doing something like that, if you're retreading a franchise, to go back and grab like the Terminator metal clank or like other things that people are familiar with. And this trailer is a really interesting kind of radar ping that comes up. Almost like danger, danger, or the kind of like they're searching for Batman, or Batman searching for his friends or something. I don't know, I really get a sense of desperation from the sound effect, and I'm not familiar with it. It's not something that I've heard in other trailers. But upon the 200th viewing of this trailer this morning, I was like, oh, it's maybe something else that I can talk about, because I feel I've just talked about this trailer to death. They show villains that we've seen before in other Arkham games. They do a weird little montage. It was actually one of my least favorite moments in the trailer when we get the faces of all the villains at the end there. It's just very presentational. Doesn't seem like all of these things are taken directly out of context of moments that I feel happen in this story and in this game. And I feel like those are set up purely for the trailer. Like, why is Riddler looking at me like that,
Oh, I love those. To me, I love those because it differentiates it from, I would say, a movie. everything's in this, and a movie would almost never do that. Just be like, oh yeah, we got the Riddler, we got every single freaking character. To me, this trailer feels like a TV series. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're getting a TV series of Batman, like his last year. You know, it feels exciting.
And even though the end chooses to focus on these 4 villains, we do see Penguin, which doesn't pop up in the end. We do see Firefly, who does not pop up in the end. Obviously, there's Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight. But Poison Ivy, in the beginning, says, we had a meeting. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
And so I think the trailer's, directly teasing fans to be like, okay, we're establishing that these characters are going to be in it, but I don't know, is Bane coming back? Is Clayface coming back? Is Joker coming back? I mean, like, yeah, we quote-unquote killed him, but who knows?
Right.
Killer Croc.
Is Killer Croc coming back? Is Calendar Man coming back?
They're throwing everything. You get the impression everything is coming back. It's all coming to a head because of like how well this trailer was made, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I think they're really amping up people's expectations. This is my, without a doubt, most anticipated game of the year, and I feel this trailer is made for me. I don't know, I can't tell if this is a story trailer or a gameplay trailer, because we do have a lot of cinemas, but they do kind of show some gameplay elements that are kind of retreading things they talked about before. Like, if I see him jump into that Batmobile one more time, it's like, okay, I got it. I know he does that move, it's great. So because of that, it drops it a little bit for me. I did consider giving this a perfect score. I was like, ooh, is this finally going to happen? But I was like, I think those shots at the end of staring into the camera are a little bit too presentational. I think some of the gameplay we're looking at is a little bit repetitive. I will give a 0.1 for each of those and give it a 9.8.
9.8?
Wow.
That might be your highest score on this show.
I think I've given other things a 9.8. This one hit me right in the gut, man. I was just like, oh my goodness. Because I was amazed that I'm so excited for this game, and yet I do have little, a couple issues that I have with the game, like I mentioned about the citizens and everything. And this game kind of alleviated a lot of those. And I'm like, or this trailer. I'm like, that's amazing that a trailer can do that. Like, that thing you're nervous about, don't be nervous about that anymore.
Yeah, I think it's super good. I'll go 9.6. Big props for not including your weird little Harley Quinn pre-order thing at the end.
Yeah, actually that was kind of cool.
They got rid of it. Yeah,
it was basically pre-order now, but they didn't use those words.
Yeah, right. You're more encouraged to pre-order the game after watching this trailer than, oh, I'll get a Harley Quinn level. Like this. It makes the game feel like an event the way this trailer is put together, and I really appreciate that.
I am 8.8 on this one. I definitely like the tone, I like the anticipation. The one thing, I don't understand why Batman as a franchise has this problem with voices.
What do you mean?
Like, I had to rewind and like, what did he say again? Like, yeah, so like the whole like having like this sound like it's, in a mask, a little bit muffled, and then it's like not always clear like what the dialogue is actually trying to get across.
He is wearing a mask, and it is being projected across the city, so I'm sure.
But that voice actor is killing it.
John Noble, I believe. Somebody threw that name out on Twitter, and I hadn't even thought about that, from Fringe and Lord of the Rings, which is a different voice actor, I believe, that originally played the Scarecrow, which of course has me speculating all sorts of things that like it's not Scarecrow or it is Scarecrow, or that he modulated the voice.
If you hadn't seen anything else, if you just watched this one trailer, it'd be enough.
Yeah, you're good.
That'd be enough. Like this is it. This is what you're getting into.
You should go media blackout from here out. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Don't watch any more trailers.
I know you don't like them, but if any trailer should have pre-order now at the end of it.
But that's actually kind of an interesting thing, because I was just talking about because I'm doing all the scheduling for GDC for our guys going up there. I'm just like, it doesn't look like Batman's going to be at GDC. And you went to Comic-Con, and they weren't at Comic-Con.
Oh, it wasn't at PSX.
They're keeping it really controlled. They're putting out the message they want to put out, which, as a journalist could be a good or a bad thing, right? It's like, you as a player, it's like, okay, if this is as good as it should be, then that's awesome, and you'll get, all of this stuff fresh without it getting spoiled. But then, if there is something to hide, we're not going to know until it actually hits.
As much as I'd like to call this show, let's all go to the Batman trailers, we should probably move on. Six different people said, if you do not talk about this trailer on Let's Go this week, you're doing it wrong. And this trailer fascinates me for the hunger, or just hunger, sorry, because it is just gameplay. There's no dialogue, and I do have to wonder how much of this is me into the trailer specifically, and how much of this is me just into this game,
Right.
We talked recently about Grow Home. We really liked the first full-length gameplay trailer that we saw for that. So I think the big things, the big takeaways from this, if this game looked like whatever, you know, it's like take away all the cool aesthetics, like wow, the lighting is really great in this, the character is really great that he's so small, just to completely take the coolness of the game out of it and really look at like what is being done right in this trailer. I think the music is really great. I love seeing this part at the end. I love seeing this smokestack because it shows us an objective. I felt that was one of the things that was missing from Grow Home. It's kind of like, okay, what am I doing? Like, when do I stop? You know, it's like, do I just keep growing things and then just keep going on? And this game is clearly like, you got to get to that surface. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. But there is a surface. There is an end to this game. As we're going back through a second time, I just want to point some things out before I get your guys' take on it. And that's the slow reveal of all the different gameplay mechanics in this game. So we start and we see him climbing, and then we introduce that he can grab objects and move them. And then we a little bit of platforming so we can see him jumping around, a little more complicated platforming, climbing, and then we have this shot where he's walking by the pail, and you like want him to jump up and grab the pail because you see that the pails are moving.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to a shot of him jumping up and grabbing something, and now he's climbing. And so like every single shot introduces new elements, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of like a cute, fun, charming game. And then no, it's not cute.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, no, this is scary. And you know, is this just the way a really small person would perceive this crazy world, or are there really disturbing supernatural things at work here? And I think that's why it's so successful, and it's so damn short. You just want it to keep going and going and see more of the game, but they really just give you a nice little tease.
Yeah, great way to reveal your game. I love the end. It's very Lost-like. It's like one of those great Lost reveals. Just of a sense of scale is what you said, and yeah, you get that. You get a sense of mystery. It's a very interesting game. It's hard to screw up the trailer, but I think the trailer did the game right. You know, show off your game, be proud of your game, and match your game's tone, and this does all of those things very well, I think.
Yeah, for me, what really stands out on this is the audio design, because there is always some kind of white noise in the background, and it makes for very jarring cuts, and I think very intentionally so. And I think that works really well for them. The other thing it does is it lends that sense of creepiness to it, and before you even see the reveal at the end, it clues you in between that and the camera movement and everything swinging. It clues you in that you're underwater. You know, it lets you know that you're on a ship of some kind under the water, and things aren't completely stable, and that lack of stability also creates a lack of stability like in your emotions and as you're trying to follow this character. I think it's really the right way to debut a game, especially with something that's entirely gameplay. It's really good and impressive, and you know, I hope the game can live up to it.
Yeah, it's a short game, and I think we can have a short discussion on it because we've yet to see more. We talked about Terraria Otherworld last week, which I felt could have shown a little bit more and tried just like this with the fades to black, tried to like really play up like the mysteriousness of it.
Yeah.
And I think this trailer was just the right amount. I wish it just had a little bit more. Maybe I'm going to selfishly not give it a perfect score because I wanted a little bit more gameplay. I'll give this a 9.3. I think this is an excellent debut. And I just want to point out, I love the word hunger. That it's kind of like, well, there's a little guy in a, rain outfit, running through a submarine. Well, how does hunger play into it? There's like lots of plates. There you see cooks.
Yeah,
and so I wonder,
smashing meat.
And
yeah,
so I wonder
creepy.
if he is something that's been kidnapped, and you're basically going through the bowels of the ship and constantly encountering either people that prepare food for people in the ship or themselves, and or victims. Like there's this guy who I'm assuming his legs don't work or doesn't have legs. Maybe they were chopped off and made into a stew, who knows.
I'm going 9.5 on this one. I think it's cool to bring up Terraria because we can actually show like what this does right. The progression of shots is always very important, and you revealed everything at perfect moments. Like you said, like showing the creepy stuff a little further into the trailer is a really good idea. Like, and then you escalate on your creepiness, and yeah, great escalation. Oh, and great use of your music. That was another thing Terraria kind of effed up, was not like timing well to its music and using its music, and this uses its music incredibly well.
Yeah, I guess a 9, and I think I said about all I can. It's really impressive to me. I like it a lot. But to me, my take on the hunger was that like he's the one that's going to get eaten if he's not careful. So.
You know what's really funny? I assumed this was a little girl. And both of you refer to it as a he. I mean, clearly.
I kind of thought of it as a girl.
It is a little
too,
feminine.
But it is hard to say.
And I actually just noticed in that first, like, monster-y character reveal, they tease the character's face just a little bit.
Oh, cool.
But again, it's just questions. It's like, that's what really great trailers do, is they ask a lot of questions. And I have more questions, and I want them answered in further trailers for The Hunger. So, curious when we'll get more from this game. We got this trailer this morning. This Friday. This episode's going up on Monday, but the last Friday we got this trailer. And this is one of those trailers that makes me wish I knew more about Mortal Kombat. Because
Really?
it hasn't detracted from it. I think the dialogue is great.
Really? What?
Uh-oh.
What,
Whoa.
that I don't know what's going on?
No, the dialogue is great. The dialogue is so bad.
So bad? What do you mean it's so bad?
Let me put it this way. This isn't Shakespeare, but I think it does a good job of setting up the story and giving a lot of characters, different characters, chances to comment on what's happening. And it does set up a... I don't feel it's like, oh, okay, another Mortal Kombat game. It does feel like they set up a legitimate reason. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat versus DC. They had this this plot device where everybody was, would turn angry, and so you'd have people turning on each other that wouldn't normally turn on each other, and then they didn't realize why. And although that felt like an obvious mechanic to make Flash fight Superman and make these things happen, I couldn't really fault the game for that. I'm like, you got to think of something. And so I think the one thing I like about this story trailer is that it comes right out, and they're like, this Mortal Kombat X is about this medallion. That is like the center of this story. And even though that is a very simple plot device, it is dangerous. And when you have characters that are this crazy and get such a kick out of ripping each other's limbs apart, crazy things will ensue because they have this relic. Kyle, you know a little bit more about Mortal Kombat than us. What's your takeaway?
The story mode is why I liked Mortal Kombat 9, I guess it is. And so for them to like double down on it and to improve upon that, I think is really encouraging. And what this trailer is about is saying, hey, this is basically a campaign now. It's a single-player campaign in our fighting game. That's pretty cool. By the way, I saw comments about how Goro killed vibes. People were so into this trailer, and Goro is killing it.
Because he's repeated. And
Right.
I've said this before. It's like you get that one chance to release Goro to show off that Goro's a pre-order character. And if you want to do it again, make him do something different. It's like it would have been much less of a buzzkill if it was just some kind of different animation. If he had like popped out of the side, or you just saw his face and he kind of winked at you or something. But like literally the same shot of him coming out of the darkness. And
and he's also there to remind you
together.
that he's a pre-order incentive that you only get if you pre-order. I think is the real thing. If he winks at me, I'm going to be more mad.
But just do something different, some other kind of reveal, or like actually see him fighting, or something new, but retreading old stuff. Somebody was talking about one of the last Type 0 trailers we got for Final Fantasy, and it's like, if I see that bloody chocobo one more time, come on, guys. It's like you just don't want to overdo something, especially after we're seeing so much new stuff, all this new dialogue, all this new footage, new characters I've seen people point out, which I unfortunately can't speak to because I'm not familiar with the cast of Mortal Kombat as I should be.
The main 4 people are like all children of prior Mortal Kombat characters. These 4 right here that pull up, they're all kids. And so that's
Diamond
like
Formation.
Yep, Diamond Formation. Blood's not into that. I'm so into
so
getting into Diamond
So do it, Blood. I want to hear. You don't like the dialogue. Bring it.
Yeah, I just it had me cringing so much. It elevated once they stopped talking and they started fighting. I was way more into that. I mean, and the thing is, like, I kind of know that like they're going for a B movie.
Would that actually be weird as a fan if all of a sudden it was like really dramatic? All of a sudden, the scribe of 12 Years a Slave, like, oh, I'm working on Mortal Kombat now. It's like, or is B movie exactly where this story needs to reside?
Yeah, and I mean, they look like cartoon characters. You know what I mean? They look
Yeah,
like
that was
superheroes.
actually was kind of weird to me. Was the faces, like and I can't put my finger on it, but the faces look kind of weird.
So Kyle, as someone who liked the story from Mortal Kombat 9, do you feel this trailer is demonstrating that if you liked the way that we handled the story in that game, you will like this, if not more?
Yes, absolutely, they're doing that. It's interesting, actually, for WB to put out both of Batman and this in the same week. Because, yeah, Batman destroys it. Batman has better facial animation and, cutscene animation, but it looks better. Batman looks better in this game. It definitely has its own vibe. It's not trying to be Batman. It's trying to be Mortal Kombat, and it's pulling it off. It's showing the new characters being Mortal Kombat as much as old characters would have been, and I think that's really important, too.
I like the location jumping, too. We go all over the place. And we've been seeing these stages repeatedly throughout the different character trailers and the gameplay reveals, and so it's kind of nice to get some context about like why are we here, and just see them in different locations. And so, whereas I think the dialogue in the story, the plot, the narrative is not that rich, I think the trailer itself is very rich in, like I was saying before, proving that there's a lot to this story. 8.2 from me.
So I'll give this one 9.5. Of course, subtracting 0.5 because Goro's showing up. It's a 9. You know, it is, the story is what it is. I think it's I think it's great. I think it's perfect, and they made a great trailer out of those things. You know, they respected their own material. They're proud of their game, and that shows in this trailer, which I always like.
I guess I will go a little higher than I was originally considering.
No, don't pump the brakes.
Finish it, Blood. Finish it.
Yeah, finish it.
So I was at a 5.5 before Goro, and then I went down to a 5. So.
Wow, Goro even upset you then, huh?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
just like, what is this crap? Why? Yeah.
He's so proud. He's so proud to be a pre-order bonus.
But it was cool the first time, and I was like, what? What is the deal?
Well, that is it for 3 trailers that I want to give extra special attention to this week. Next, we're going to look at a trailer that we've never seen before. I hope you guys haven't seen it. It is the launch trailer for Shelter 2. Are you familiar with Shelter 2?
I'm familiar with Shelter 1. That's the Badger game.
Yeah, Shelter 2, I guess you're a lynx or a leopard or
Cool.
some kind of cat in the forest.
All right.
And the trailers are always really short and really calm, and I'm curious if the launch trailer changes that up. It seems like this advertising campaign is like really, really, really calm and sleepy, and they're totally okay with that.
Okay.
Like they're really not gonna like jump out and try to get you like uber excited about it. They're just like, you got your cubs and you're just going through the forest and you're just chilling. But it's the launch trailer, so I don't know if that's when you pull out all the stops. But we shall see. Shelter 2.
It's interesting. It starts with available on Steam.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Art. I like it.
It's just, you feel like taking a nap, you know? You're like, yeah.
Oh no, I'm invested. I'm hungry for more.
Was that the sun? That's cool.
Yeah, I like that sun animation. That's sweet.
Yeah, I see there's the links.
Oh my gosh, the constellation.
So yeah, none of these trailers have had any kind of narration. There's no titles. Oh,
There's a
as I
title.
said, titles. There's titles. So yeah, a little more context here in the launch trailer.
It's
That's what I
interesting
was
seeing all
curious
the
about.
constellations. So you're guarding your cubs or kits or whatever you call
Which
them.
we've seen grow up in the beginning. I wonder if that's your cubs all grown up, or I wonder if that's like the pack you start with, maybe.
This art is great.
Yeah.
The lynx kind of looks like a couch, or like a looks like it's made out of wood. Yeah, really play. I mean, it's really playing
Oh,
up
wow.
the game. You know, like this is the game. It's not trying to sell it as anything else.
This music's great.
You gotta kill something, right? You gotta hunt something in this game.
Yeah.
Its ears are perked.
Yeah, I mean, you saw someone hunting earlier.
Wow.
So interesting.
Interesting you guys haven't seen any trailers for this so far. Not only an introduction to the launch trailer of Shelter 2, an introduction to the game and the campaign itself.
I'm a little mad about how that ended.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I kind of wish they, like as you were saying, like if you're caring for your cubs, then you should hunt something and take it back to them. And
Yeah,
we
what
didn't
are-
really see that.
What are the mechanics of that? So we've established that we can walk around, and we can run, and we can pick our cubs up in our mouth if we need to forcibly carry them places. Don't really establish why you would need to do that. Maybe there's some platforming sections, or you need to get it across a river or up a mountain or something, and that's why you
Right.
would actively put it in your mouth.
Yeah, see,
And
like
we
that's the
kinda see it,
closest.
like,
That's the most
yeah.
hunting we got.
Chasing after some deer, but we never see it take it down. We don't see any meters, so it's like, I don't know if it's like a one-shot kill, if you like have to grapple it and like fight with it or something, if you're like slowly chipping away at it as you're chasing it. Do you need more context, Cal Bossman?
No, I like what they're selling us is a game where we get to be a lynx. That's it's just like, hey, you want to play a game where you're a lynx? Here it is, and I think that's pretty cool. It is strange to bring up a family's journey and nothing else, but the way it fades out at the end is what bugs me. Is like once you reveal your title, Like that's it. Here's our game, and then just an environment shot. There are no links in that end scene, and then the music and the scene both kind of fade, fizzles out. No matter what your game is, I think you want to end your trailer with "Here it is. You gotta play this," not just like "Here it is," and then we'll see you all later.
But as I mentioned before, yeah, that's all the trailers that they released for this game. It's like a very clear creative choice that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's just make it very calm, very serene. This is the circle of life, folks. This just happens.
Like if you cut to black here, good. But instead we get rain, and then the music slowly just kind of fades out inconsequentially.
Also, no threats. You know, like, how do you lose this game?
I don't want to lose. I don't want to see those things in this trailer. Do you want to see those?
Well, I don't want to see the little cubs die, but I mean, it's like, I guess the cubs might perish from starvation, I'm guessing. That seems like the only real
Since
challenge.
you're not killing anything? Yeah, probably.
Right. I mean, weather obviously changes. Curious how big the environment is. Curious if the environment is procedurally generated or if there is a standard map. So if you do lose at the game and you start, you kind of know where things are, where you can find them. Clearly, these guys are in love with their art style, this developer, because, like you were saying, the very last shot in the trailer doesn't even have a links in it. You know, they're just kind of like playing up the environment. Yeah, I wish that was one curiosity I had. We get the constellations here, but it's like, what does that mean? Is that something, you know, at night can you use the constellations as a map? How is this Lynx lighting the environment around it right now? Is it like carrying a lamp or something? So yeah, maybe a little bit more context. I'll pull Michael Damiani and give it a 7.8.
I think this is a really good trailer. I'll give it a hard 9. I think it's one of those things where it's like you've matched the vibe of your game. You sold something that's different. Your game is different, and you were proud enough to show us how different it is. And great use of your music. You know, the ending caught me off guard, but yeah, you made a different trailer for a different game, and I think that's always a good thing. That's like the best you can do, you know?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, for a launch trailer, it's kind of supposed to kind of sell me on, like, what this game is all about. I feel like it's missing the mark a little bit, but I definitely, you know, I like the overall vibe, and I like the look of the game, and they've kind of matched their vibe with their shots. But yeah, I feel like it should have shown a little bit more. So 7.6, I think, for me.
It's fair. And as I mentioned before, very similar to all their other trailers. And launch trailer is kind of that's your last little bit there. You know, you really should just bring it all. But they're very specific about how they want to sell their game. And interesting that it's like, I don't know if I'm tripping. We've had some issues with color this week on social media. That seems gray to me. It never like goes to full black. Right. It only goes to gray.
Yep.
Another like very clear stylistic choice. Okay, we got lots of other trailers this week. I put a couple extra more than we usually talk about because I knew Shelter 2 wouldn't be that very long of a trailer, probably wouldn't be a long discussion. Battlefield Hardline had a live-action trailer so bad it made Kyle laugh out loud while watching it.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Do you think this is one of those things where there's like YouTube people they hire, like they're famous on YouTube and we should know who they are?
Dying Light also came out with a trailer that was kind of the same thing. It was just like guys chasing and then the zombies catch them. You're like, woof, you really gave me a exclusive angle on this game that I didn't have before, which raises the question, like, what do we get out of this trailer? For me, I get nothing. And what are we supposed to get? Like, how does this make me feel about Battlefield Hardline? How does this sell the game at all? Because the game looks way better than this.
Yep.
It's way more exciting than this.
Yeah.
This was clear, like us right now could put hoods on and grab Ian and a couple cameras from our stage and go shoot this.
I'm not jumping off the roof. I'm sorry.
Right, but I mean, we could if we were crazy enough. If we were Smosh and not GT, we would go jumping off that roof.
Some of the things I'm laughing at are like how unathletic these police officers are. Like the way they kind of like slowly grab onto somebody and like awkwardly. It's so strange. It's very amateurish.
It doesn't seem like it's playing up any gameplay mechanics. So that was
they
interesting.
kind of do the first-person thing too, which is also really awkward.
I actually had this in place of Mortal Kombat until Mortal Kombat showed up this morning, and I was like, oh, see ya, Battlefield. So I don't really want to talk about it a lot, but just down the road, I'm curious to maybe grab a live-action trailer, and we can open up the discussion again about like what you get out of live-action, especially at this point where, when is Hardline coming out? Pretty soon, right?
Yeah, March.
Yeah, so it's like, at this point, what does that add to the campaign? Not sure. The battle of the super wacky trailers. Don't Be Patchman versus Y2K.
Ooh.
Both had really, really wacky trailers, and I dug Patchman more. I was curious what you guys thought. Yeah.
No, I'm definitely more in Y2K. Patchman was so all over the place that I'd like I wasn't quite sure what they were giving me. Like, am I seeing like a story arc play out, or yeah?
Do you remember DGU last week and we complained about how it doesn't tell us what that game is about? Patchman, I think, did a really good job of explaining everything what this game is about, like what you'll be doing in this game. Like, it did that at least. I think it's a super weird game, and you know, it's hard to make a trailer for a game that weird.
I just loved how weird it was. It was just so bizarre. And maybe it's because I didn't know anything about Y2K. Maybe if I hadn't heard about Y2K at all. But we've checked that out at previous events. Huber was excited about that game. We did a Just Played on it. So I did know a little bit about it. So when I watched Y2K, I felt like I was actually watching screenshots come to life as opposed to like being introduced to this game for the first time. And Patchman just had such a great vibe of like, this game is just straight up Looney Town and we love it. Like, we know you're confused right now and we don't care. Whereas the issue with DGU is I felt that they thought we did know. That they were like, oh, you get our game. It's like, I really don't. I really have no idea what's going on. Which is called Deaf God University, just for context.
Yeah.
In case people didn't read comments or follow us on Twitter. Supernova had a debut gameplay trailer this week. We also received the cinematic trailer, but I don't know if the cinematic trailer came out this week. I'm curious.
No, I think they made the announcement this week.
They both came out this week?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, both of these need to be the same trailer. They need to take the gameplay debut and the cinematic thing and put it together. Because the cinematic teaser teases nothing.
Yeah.
It is a ship, and then a dude with a hammer, and then titles. It's like, that's not a game. That you need to, if you're just going to come out with a teaser and you're going to animate it, whether it's in-game or CG, there's got to be some kind of clue as to what's happening in this game. And that was answered for me when I actually saw it. Oh, okay, it's kind of MOBA-ish. It's kind of
it is a MOBA.
It's a MOBA, okay.
Hard MOBA.
And it's very...
It says like the galaxy or the universe is your arenas. Their tagline.
It's very much trying to just... It feels like it's trying to like grab as much StarCraft as they can without getting in trouble. It's kind of...
I get anxiety watching these trailers because I know it's all wasted money.
Right.
There's no way this is going to be a success, and it like bums me out. It really like hurts my heart to watch these trailers.
If like DC, if Detective Comics is like, we're making a MOBA, and you're like, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be successful.
Right.
And then these guys are like, we're making a sci-fi MOBA. It's like, oh man, you gotta bring more to the table than that.
Bandai Namco. I know what you're doing.
So yeah, not super excited about that game, and just the lesson here is...
that song. It's a terrible song, by the way.
Yeah. It was like a weird housey, like...
It's just like, just constant repetition of this obnoxious noise.
Filing in the adorable department, I really liked... I thought it kind of overstayed its welcome, but I did enjoy the first 30 seconds of the guild trailer for TERA Fate of ARUN, or ARUN? I think it's ARUN.
Yeah, actually I was the other way around. I was not into it at first, and then at some point it kind of like jumped a gap and was like, oh, this is actually kind of funny.
It's a hard sell in MMOs. It's like, here's, you, the player, can do all of these things, basically.
And I think it's kind of fun to, like, play up, I don't know, they kind of make fun of one of their races. You know, they're just like, here's this dumb little panda.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I can imagine people playing the guild, they're like, not the guild, but playing TERA. They're like, hey, I'm a panda. Pandas are cool. You know? So I liked that it was able to make fun of itself. Have there really never been guilds in TERA?
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like they're introducing a very standard feature in a pretty fun way, I think.
Yeah, so maybe that's another thing that they can cover up, that, like, you know, MMOs should have these at launch. Just throwing that out there. So yeah, I do like that it's kind of funny. It's a little bit too long, kind of overstays its welcome, especially with the VO.
Yeah, I would agree, it's too long.
And lots of Kickstarter trailers this week. Lots of really bad Kickstarter trailers. We should have one episode of Let's Go that is just us talking about Kickstarter trailers. This one got me, man. What'd you guys think of this?
What do you mean got you? In a good way?
There were two moments of this that I thought were really, really clever, and I thought were an interesting way to stand apart from other Kickstarter trailers. I didn't get a feeling of desperation from this trailer, which is always kind of depressing when you watch Kickstarter stuff, and they're like, please, God, send us money, please. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like I was being commanded to give this project money.
That's a fair point.
I thought was really smart, obviously, to show the previous Toe Jam and Earls. And the two bits that just really cracked me up are, one, his accent I thought was really funny, because I don't know the guy. Like, I might know his name, but, like, I don't know that he's, you know, not Irish or Scottish or British or whatever he was trying to pull off. And so it was kind of charming. I was like, oh, this guy's adorable. And it's like, no, he's just jerking your chain. He doesn't have an accent.
Ian hated that.
Yeah, that really bugged me, too.
Ian brought that up yesterday. I hate that guy for that.
But again, what are you going to do in a Kickstarter trailer, you know? It's like, there's so many tropes that people stick to of just, again, pleading, and it, like, him doing that just had this vibe of, like, I don't care. I want to make a Toe Jam and Earl game. You can give me money, you can't, whatever.
Yeah.
And I loved how he talked about, I'm assuming the other person who developed the original Toe Jam and Earl games that he mentions, like, this guy's not involved. He's doing something else.
Right.
It's just kind of like, I don't know if it's the equivalent of like throwing that guy under the bus, but like, I just loved the honesty there. I love that he's like, you're expecting him to be a part of this project. He's not. I'm making it anyway. It just seemed like a very honest trailer, and the tendency can be in Kickstarter trailers to not be honest, to try to sell yourself way more than what you are. Peter Molyneux. So it's nice that it's nice that he's really upfront and has this really casual attitude about his project. And
the thing that bummed me out though is the actual look of the project as it is right now, because you know when they were showing like the the unreleased Genesis sequel, over like, oh yeah, I'm kind of into that. Yeah. And they showed like the polygon version of the other thing that got canceled, like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then they show this, and like,
yeah, that's a whole nother conversation altogether.
Don't know what you're.
That's not the trailer's fault.
Especially since there's so many amazing pixel games now. You know, there's so many great Kickstarter projects. There's so many great retro classic pixel, like from horror games to actually something like Crawl. You know, that just has like really great pixel aesthetic. Yeah, I don't know why he went with this. He even calls it out and says exactly what he was inspired by, which is like 90s comic books, which, I don't know, kind of makes the game feel kind of empty and makes it kind of hard to look at. Who's the big, is Earl the big fat guy, or is Earl the red guy?
I think Earl's the red guy.
Okay, so we're seeing mostly Earl.
I could be totally wrong.
Walking around the environment, or seeing the little red dude, and it's like kind of hard to look at him. Like his details are kind of lost because he just kind of vanishes into the environment. But that's, let's all go to the video games, not let's all go to the trailers. Yeah. That's just like critiquing the actual game itself. But separated itself, I felt, from other Kickstarter trailers, and that's what I appreciated it for. So, trailer of the week's Batman Arkham Knight. Thanks everybody for tuning in this week. That's really great, and we'll see you next week. I mean, anybody contesting me? Huh?
No.
Huh?
That's my vote.
I'm in the hunger. Yeah.
Wait, oh, hunger over Batman Arkham Knight.
Really? So it doesn't get that gold medal of all three. Wow. You think Hunger is a better trailer than that Batman Arkham Knight trailer?
It made me more excited. Yeah, I think so.
I'll give him that because, like I said, as much as I love the writing, as much as I love the music, as much as I love the sound design and the dialogue, it is retreading a lot of concepts we are familiar with the game, whereas Hunger is just brand new. I can understand people being really excited about that. I mean, case in point, 6 people hit me up on Twitter asking us to talk about the Hunger. Only one person hit me up. Yeah. And with a tweet that was like, I don't even know why I'm tweeting this at you. I'm just assuming you're going to talk about it anyway. So there we go, but it still wins 2-1. So officially, Batman Arkham Knight is trailer of the week. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.